So hello guys, in our previous video we have seen that this registration form. Okay, so when we register, let's register one email. So when we register, you can see this kind of errors. And what is the error saying email already exists? Let's try with different email. So when registration is successful, then we are basically redirecting a user to login page. Okay, you can see here in our views that here we are redirecting user to login page. So instead of that, now we want to show a success message on this page, like in registration register page. Okay, so let's go to that messages. For to add the message in this registration form, we basically first of all will create one HTML file, which is alerts.html, and that alerts.html will be inside our includes file. Okay, includes folder. So let's create alerts.html, and inside this we will write a code that we can use in our register.html. So we basically directly use this whole code which is inside this alerts.html. So let me just write all the code. Mm, so let's make one condition: if message is, before that I think let me create a view. Let me edit this view. Okay, so that it will be easier to understand for you guys. So inside view, what we are gonna add is, after this user profile object creation, just add a message, or like success messages dot success, and request and the message that you want to display after successful creation of user, like registration successful. Okay, and now we basically want to redirect the user to the same register page. Okay, so let's redirect it. And remove this login redirection. Okay, so this is for our success message. Okay, also we want to display an error message. Okay, you can see that error message is already there, but we want to display it in our bootstrap style. Okay, like it should be inside one error box or something. So let's come on this later, but just keep this success message for now. So first of all, we have to import messages from Django.contrib. Import messages. Okay, now it is perfect. So now let's go to alerts.html. So inside this condition, so we are basically telling if any messages are there. we are storing messages by doing this messages.success. So if there is successful registration, then the message registration successful will be inside our messages inside this. So if anything inside messages, then just use another loop like this for use loop for loop. So for message in messages remove this spaces. For message in messages, so we are basically applying a loop on all the messages. Okay, now we should have only one message like registration successful after successful registration. So let's create a div. Inside div, just give id is equal to messages message. Okay, and class we will give container. So don't got confused for understanding these things. So just remember these things for now because it is related to front end. So create another div, and inside that div we basically apply a condition like if condition. If message dot tag, if message dot tags, then class is equal to alert message dot tag, and if, and the role of that div will be alert, not this message. Delete this, just keep this alert. I think it is unnecessary. Let's delete it. Div. Okay. After this, let's what we will add now is button. Okay. So inside this button, just give type is button and class is close. Data dismiss alert. Okay. And we don't want this. This is just for a close button for that message particularly. Okay, area hidden root and times. Okay, spawn. Okay, perfect. So if another if condition will be there, if message dot label. Don't worry guys, I will explain all these confusions, so don't worry about that. Default message labels dot error. Use important this will be printed, not like this. So this will be printed. when there is a error message. Okay, let me just finish code first, then I can explain you guys later. So now I think it is perfect. Let's go to register.html. Alerts.html is perfect. View is okay, and let's edit this register.html. First of all, we have to comment out uh, this condition for all the errors. Okay, because we already creating these alerts for the errors, so we don't want this now. Okay, just comment it out and add here that include tag. Okay, after this article just use include in, and what we want to include is includes alerts.html. Okay, not HMTL, HTML. So this ls.html is inside includes, and that's why we have you type in here includes oblique ls.html, and this file will be here because we are using this include tag, which includes all of this code here. Okay, instead of this, it is basically this in the this code is used internally by this Django template language. So now let's see what happens. Let's use another email so that we can have that success message. Okay, so here is our error template syntax error at if message dot label uh, don't know what is error. Hmm, here is our error, like we have used here uh, we haven't used here underscore. Just remove this where it is here, use underscore. Now let's check. You can see this green line, but we can't see the message. Let's see what is causing the error. Okay, so registration is successful, but we cannot see this message inside this box. So there should error in this alerts, I think. Let's go to our alerts. Uh, okay, so I can see this error. So we basically want this div, this all message and all things inside this div, but we have closed it earlier. So let's remove this and add it here. So now it will perfect. Now it is perfect. Now let's check what happens. So you can see guys that we can see the success message. Okay, inside the green box. So we have this close button too. Okay, now let's see what happens when we have any error. Like, let's use another password. mm, so what is happening here? What is happening here, guys? Let's check. I think it is because of that we have commented out this error. Okay, what if we use this? Let's check. Now let's see what happens. So you can see this error. Okay, so we want these errors inside that box, same as in successful registration. Okay, but in the error form, not in the green color box. We want it in a red color box. Okay, so just comment this out, and for error we will modify our code, our view. Okay, let's make some necessary changes here. So after this this successful message, we are gonna add else, and after that else, suppose so this will execute when form is valid. Okay, when every field has no error. But if anything, if any error in any kind of field, okay, any field, so then what happens? So basically that's what we are saying here, key uh, else for, let's say, apply a for loop here, a field in for form, and another for loop will be there, error in field dot errors, and messages dot error, same as that we have typed here, messages dot success, and here we are storing this error message. Okay, so request and that error which is inside this field dot errors. Another loop will be there, this is for our field errors. Okay, we haven't specified non-field errors. So for non-field errors, let's make another loop, and form dot non-field errors. Non-fields error are those errors basically which are not associated with any particular one field, which is connected with all whole form. Okay, whole form. Messages dot error, request and error. So now it is perfect. And now let's check what happens when, let's use another password. Attribute error, account register bound field. What is causing this error? Field dot errors. Sorry guys, we have this typo here. Uh, 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 uh. here 49 line errors. Here we have used the RRR. Now it should be perfect. So you can see here it is giving an error, but not in the red box. Okay, unlike that successful message, uh, we cannot see here that any kind of red box. Okay, so now what we will do, we will basically change our settings.py. This is very important, guys, and don't worry, I am gonna explain all the this flow one by one. Just let me complete this code first. So here we will add a message tag, message underscore tags. Inside this, mm, message dot error will be danger, and we have to import this. Let's import it here just so that we can understand that we are using it here. From Django.content messages, import constants as message. Okay, so now let's see what happens. Okay, we have to run server. So now you can see this red box. Okay, now it is looking perfect. You can see these two errors because email is already there and password also doesn't match. So basically what is happening here, let me explain all of this code. We have this explanation here. So the first thing is like when a user submits form. Okay, when this form is submitted, view checks form. Here view will check the form and store some message if form is valid. Okay, if form is valid, then it will create user and stores this message, this success message. And after storing that message, it will redirect it to register. It will again go to register URL. Okay, inside register URL we are basically uh, you executing this view. Okay, so this view will be again executed, and now this request dot method will be get. When user has submitted this form, then it was a post method, but when this validation is complete, user is created, and message is stored inside these messages. And again when redirection happens, then this will again run. This register view will uh, execute again, and for that second time, that second execution, this request dot method is get. So this will be skipped, and inside this else block what we have inside this else block. We have this object form, and it will be rendered to our register.html with the form. Okay, so user was already created in the first execution, so don't worry about user. But what about this message? So this message will be stored temporarily inside that request, okay, inside the session, so it can be used by second execution. So what is happening? Template reads message. Which template? Basically this register.html. This register.html is including this alerts.html, and inside that alerts.html we are using these messages everywhere. Okay, messages, 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 message. So basically that message was stored temporarily. So even after second execution, that message was inside the messages, that success message basically. So now message will be displayed and message disappears when we click on that close button. It will be disappear. Okay, so user submits registration form in register.html. Let's go from the beginning. Let's start. Where is form? I think we are already not there, but form is here. And where the form is starting? Here. Here the form is starting, and form, inside that form register.html form method is post. Okay, so when user submits form, method will be post. In the first execution, when the register button is clicked, request.post contains something like this. We have all the data in request.post, and view will receive the data. So if request.method is post, this request.post data will be there inside form. Now Django creates a form object and fills it with submitted data, and validation starts here. Okay, now we have all the data and validation starts here. So if form is valid, Django automatically validates a required field that we have seen in our previous video of register for registration form. Okay, so validates email and run clean methods. These all clean methods that we have in our register. I mean forms.py, where it is. Here it is. This clean method and clean email. First this clean will execute, and after that this clean email will be executed. So all the validation will be completed, and if everything is fine, if there is no error, then the object will be created using this clean this data. This clean data is came from that clean method. Okay, username email dot split. So user will be created and user profile object will be also created. That two objects was created in these two tables. Okay, and message is stored. This registration successful message will be stored. So if everything pass, true, otherwise false, success case, suppose form is valid, user and user profiles are created. Okay, and then message of success stores a message internally. Django stores something like this. Inside the message we have something like this. Label is success and text is registration successful. This text is what we have written here. Okay, so notice you have a typo. Okay, I think I had this typo and I have solved this now. so don't ignore this for now. Redirect, so return redirect register. This register user will be redirected again on this register, and this whole process will be run again this view will execute. Okay, that I have said. And before redirect it was post. Okay, just focus on this, guys. Before this redirection, in the first execution, we all know that the request dot method is post when user submit form. So this will be executed, and in this first execution, when this will execute, then again it will repeat the same thing. This register function will again run. Okay, so now this request will become get. After redirect, we have get request. Message survives because Django stores it in the session temporarily. Now we don't have this data, and we don't want it actually, because we already created the objects in these two tables. So we don't have the data in second execution, but we have message. Okay, because that message survived because Django stores it in the session temporarily. So in second execution, it will be inside this else condition, and it will be rendered to register.html. Inside that register.html, we are basically including where it is where is okay, here we are including these alerts, and inside these alerts we are using the messages which was stored temporarily in the session. Okay, so Django inserts the contents of alerts. Django inserts the contents of alerts by using this, and alerts.html check the messages. Django automatically provides a variable name. Okay, so all the messages are inside this variable by Django itself, containing all stored messages. Suppose we are storing here a success message. We are storing this success message here. So the inside the messages we have something like this, and loop through messages. We are applying a loop. If there is messages, then apply the loop on that messages. Okay, suppose one message exists. This we have now this one message. So loop runs once. Determine bootstrap class. So this this is for bootstrap class. Okay, this class is by bootstrap. So if you guys don't have any idea that how to check that we are using bootstrap or not, then just check here inside our css. We have something like this bootstrap.css. Okay, and also I think in our base.html we have this kind of files here. So basically we have something like this in our base.html, so that we can say we are using bootstrap class. So in bootstrap class, we have to give this kind of class for the error, for the alerts. So this is the another concept in this. Let's go on this bootstrap alert type. Okay, so when you write this message.error, Django creates some message with the tag like message.tag is equal to error. When you use this messages.error, the tag of that message will be error. Then in your template, it will we have something like this. Okay, so Django will try to render this, like instead of this message.tag, we have error. We have error. Okay, so but Bootstrap doesn't have any alert error. Any alert error. Bootstrap expects alert danger. Okay, so what is this? So Bootstrap expects danger for a red error box that we have already displayed in our error message. So when you add this in your settings.py that we have already added, we have this added this. Okay, that it means inside that message tag that instead of error it will use danger for all the error message. Okay, so you are telling Django whenever the message level is error, whenever the we have used this error message level is error, this message is dot error, then use the tag danger instead of alert, sorry, error. Use this danger tag. Now message dot error creates this message dot tags is equal to danger. Why? Because we have mentioned here in settings.py. Otherwise, it will uh, create this kind of tag error. Okay, but now that error will be stored as danger. So message.tags is equal to danger now, and in this alerts, this message.tags will be danger, and this alert will use will be something like this. Mm, something like this, alert danger. Okay, which is available in our Bootstrap. Just remember this, and your template becomes alert danger. Okay, so which Bootstrap recognized and styles as a red alert. So message dot error, message level was error, and message tag converts error to danger. Okay, inside settings.py, and message dot tag is now danger. So inside alert we have alert message tag, and alert danger will be there. Bootstrap shows a red alert. Okay. Mm, what is this? Uh, Post and get. Okay, so Django does post redirect get. Gone. So that this is for our post and get conversion of the request. In the first execution we have seen of in these views, in the first execution it was post, and after again redirecting user to this register URL, it will be get. So Django does post to redirect to get. Your from post data is gone after redirect, but the message is not gone because Django stores it temporarily. Django messages are stored in request.messages and behind the scenes, usually saved in session cookie. So flow is post request to message.success. This will be stored. Django store message temporarily in cookie session, redirect to register, and browser sends new get request to register. Template checks if messages are there, and message is displayed. So if there is message, and message will be displayed. Message is removed after displaying, after clicking on the close button. So message survive with the redirect because they are stored outside normal post data. Okay, outside normal post data. Then in registered HTML, it display once important request dot post. It does not survive redirect. Okay, so that all the data we have inside a request dot post, that we cannot use it again, but we don't know, need actually. Okay, because we have already created this user in the first execution, so we don't need it anymore. And but a message will survive for the next request only. Okay, just to remove this now. So what is happening here? If message is success, then message dot tags will become success. Okay, now we don't want to change this success to any other, that we have changed that error to danger, but this success will work for the bootstrap. Okay, bootstrap shows a green box, success output, alert success, registration successful, result green success message. So in success case, we can see the success message in the green box without changing this tag. Unlike danger, unlike error, we don't want, there is no need to change the success. Okay, so error case, suppose passwords don't match, password do not match, then form is valid will false. Okay, this is for our error case, that validation has some error, so it will become false. And field error, now we have two types of error. Okay, if we have any error, then the possibility is like we have two types of error here. If this will be false, then it will go to here, it will comes to here, else inside else block. So inside this error we have two types of error, non-field error and field error. Non-field errors are those errors who are not associated with any field, and the field errors are that kind of error that is connected to any one particular field. Okay, that we have seen our previous videos. So this for loop, field in form for error in field dot errors, email already exists. So this email already exists is a field error. So message dot error, email already exists. Now message level is error. Non-field error example from your clean method. This was created in the clean method. This isn't attached to specific field. This is attached to whole form. And this form dot non-field will return something like this. Mm, So if you guys have a doubt about that bootstrap tags, so let's go to here. In Django messages, the default message tags are here. So Django message level is, so here you can see this kind of errors should be there in Django, like this messages dot error, messages dot warning, messages dot success, messages dot info, messages dot debug. These are the labels by Django, and the tags for tag for that. So for error level, we have this error tag, and this is for Django. Okay, this is all for Django. I mean this. So if there is error, and the tag will something like error. If there is warning, there is a warning tag. If there is success message, there is a success tag. If there is info, label, then there is a info tag, and for the debug it is a debug. So just focus on this now, success and error, because we are using it. So there is, if there is error message, okay, and we are using something like this for our bootstrap, then it will give error. It means it will not give a red box like that green box that we have already seen. So why this is not giving? Because bootstrap has not any this kind of class, this kind of class, okay. So here you can see this bootstrap alert classes are here. So why change to error to danger? Because we have this kind of classes in bootstrap like alert, primary, secondary, success, danger, warning, info, light and dark. We don't have any error alert, okay. Notice bootstrap has danger, not error. So if Django generates this kind of class, alert error, suppose we have used here instead of this method dot tag, suppose imagine the alert error, okay. But this class is not available by bootstrap. That is the issue, that if we want to use a particular bootstrap class, then we have to uh, give it in which is available in the bootstrap class. If we will give error but error is not in available in bootstrap class, then it cannot be used. If we want to use that red box, that error box, then we have to convert that error to danger, okay. So if Django, if this is used, then bootstrap doesn't recognize this alert error, okay. This alert error is not there in bootstrap class, you can see, and the alert won't get the red styling, that red box basically. That's why we add this in our settings.py, that this code will convert the error to danger in the message tag. Now message dot error will become something like this, alert danger, okay. So which bootstrap styles correctly, this is because of this code. If we comment this out code, then let's see what happens. Let's comment it out, and now let's submit a form. Server we have to run. So you can see that red styling is disappeared. This is just normal error and button. But if we want to use the red box, then we have to use this code. Then we have to convert the error to danger. Now it should be there, okay. So that's what I want to explain you guys. Now this will use this alert danger and which bootstrap styles correctly. So which tags stay the same? This already match bootstrap, so no changes needed. So this success method that we haven't changed, okay. Why? Because this alert success was already there. Alert success was already available in the bootstrap classes, alert classes, okay. And warning and info also ours will remain same. So only this one needs mapping for now. Messages dot error, example view, error success warning info, inside template message dot tag, and output will be there. So in the for the success message, we have this success alert. For the error, we have danger. Why? Because we have added that code in settings.py. For the warning, we have warning, this is by default, and info we have alert info. This is tag, huh? Don't confuse, guys. This is message.tag. This is message.tag. Info, danger, warning, and success. So the rule is simple: success, keep as success; warning, keep as warning; keep as info. Okay, and if error, then change to danger. Debug usually don't need, we don't need this now. Okay. So let's go to flow. Let's go to field error and non-field error. So now if validation fails and it will become false, then it will go to else block, and in this form we basically have all the fields. Okay, we have seen in our previous video that inside the form we have all the fields. So what is inside this form? Let's go on, let's have a look on this. I have this explanation for you guys. Let's assume the user submits the form, and now uh, so user is submitting form like this. Suppose a first name is empty, and password is and confirm password is different. So your form validation may produce first name required, password doesn't match. Okay, so just it is just for example that if first name is empty, okay, then this kind of error should be happen. Okay, for now we don't have any error for that, but in real projects, in production, we basically do something like this, that for if there is empty, there is nothing in first name, so it will generate an error. Also this password is different, so this password doesn't match should be generated. So now let's see what's inside each thing. What is inside form? So inside this form is an iterable of bound field object. Okay, so this is new concept, bound field object. I will come on this. So for now, just remember this is a bound field objects. There are bound field objects inside a form, and each iteration gives you one field. So inside form we have all the fields like this. Okay. Uh, so you can inspect them by printing the this field dot name. So inside form we have many fields. Suppose how can we check? Form contains all the fields. Okay, all these fields. However, Django doesn't store them as a plain string. It is not something like this. Okay, each field inside form is a bound field object. So if we print the all the objects one by one like this, so it will print HTML for each field, like input type is text, name is first name. Okay, so and if we do something like this, field dot name, print field dot name, then this name will be printed. Only this field will give this kind of uh, output, but if we use here field dot name, then this name will be printed, this name will be printed. Okay, this kind of output we will get. So basically inside form we have something like this, the list of bound field objects, and we are basically applying a loop on that. So when I previously said okay, there were and bound object, that's also true. This is just for example, ignore this for now. So also, if you do this kind of thing, suppose for field inform print type of field and field dot name, then you already know that field dot name will give something like this, first name last name. But what is this type of field? So this will give a Django form bound field object, bound field. Okay, bound field dot bound field. That's why, because of this is a bound field object. So form is collection of all form fields, and when you iterate over it, each field is a bound field object representing one form field. Okay, so let's go to this bound field object. That what is bound field object? So in Django forms, when you loop through a form like this for field in form trim type, each field is a bound field object. What is bound field? A bound field is the Django's representation of form field that is connected, bound to a specific form instance. So form registration form, this form is connected to this form. Okay, so if your form has this kind of fields, first name, email, which is already we have inside our form, inside forms registration form, we have password and confirm password and phone number, and the first name, last name, email, password was already inbuilt by Django. Okay, I should recommend you guys to watch our previous video so that it will be easier to understand all these things. So that our form is connected to this registration form, and we have all the fields. Then during the loop, a field will be first bound field for first name, then a bound field for email. Why does Django use bound field? The original field definition. Original field is something like this, and it only knows a field type get field. Validator required optional status. It doesn't know value, error, HTML name, ID, which form it belongs to. A bound field combines form instance, field definition, current data, error, everything. Inside bound field, we have all the details into one object. So for field in form, so we can do something like this: field dot name, field dot label, field dot value, field dot errors. Why? Because inside form we are applying a loop, and in this form we have all the bound field object, so that we can access all these things for that bound field object. Suppose the user submitted first name empty, email is this. For the first name bound field, so for field dot name will be first name, field dot label will be first name, field dot value will be nothing. Why? Because nothing is given here during form submission, and so error should be there. Okay, for example, error should be there, field dot error, and we can access all the error like this, field dot errors. So this field is required, and this error will be inside this thing, field dot error. Okay, so common attributes of bound field is field dot name, output email. This is common. Field dot label. Okay, we have all, we can access all these things, like field dot name will give our email, give an email. Field dot label will give an email. Okay, so field dot error will give this kind of error, and field dot value will give us a value, and field dot field returns the original field object, this thing. In your code, field in form for error in field dot errors. So now we are accessing field dot errors. Okay, these errors for the first bound field object. For the first bound field object, it will go to this loop, and that particular errors for the first object we are applying a loop again. And suppose we have one error, then this will run for only one time. We have two errors, then this loop will uh, run for two times, run twice. Okay, so here field is a bound field object. This field is bound field object from which is came from this form, and field dot error contains the error for that specific field. Which field? Like first name, last name, everything. Okay, for example, field dot name is email. For example, this field dot name is email, and field dot errors is email already exist. Okay, related to this email we have this error, and also field dot name is password, then this should be some error. This is just for example that this can be also happen. So the flow is under the form we have all this object, list of the objects, bound field, first name, last name, email, password, and confirm password, and each bound field contains information about one form field. This object has all the information related to this field. Okay, its value, widget, label, error, everything. That's why we can access it in the inner loop, like this field dot error inside this inner loop. Okay, and that error we are storing it inside these messages as an error, and this is for field error. Okay, we have seen in our previous video that all the errors, if any field has a particular error, then that will be called a field error. Okay, so inside this form we have all the bound field object, and one particular object should have one error or any two error related to that particular object. But if we want to access an error which is related to whole form, okay, whole form itself, then we should use something like this. Then we cannot access those type of error by this by this method. Why? Because we have seen that inside form we have our particular field, different fields, and suppose we have a error of password mismatch. Okay, then it will connect it to all fields, not like that suppose this email has one error that email already exists. Okay, this email already exists is connected to this email field, but the error that was a different password match, that is not connected to only this or only this. It is connected to all of this field, so we cannot access it in the by this bound field objects. We have to use this form dot non-field errors, and that's why we have used to access it non-field errors. So if there is error, if there is an error of password mismatch, okay, then it will store in this non-field errors. Let me explain this. So here we are comparing this password and confirm password here. uh, this password and confirm password. So when we compare two fields and then generate any error, then raise any error, then it will be marked as non-field error. Why? Because this error is not connected to only this or only this. It is connected to whole registration form. This whole registration form, all of the fields have this error. Okay, so That's why we have used this form dot non-fill error. So suppose this email already exists and all the errors are will be there in this, which is related to particular field. So Django stores the error message, and now message label is error. Okay, we have seen that there are many labels in Django message, like error, success, and debug and all. Okay, so now it is stored as a error. So non-filled errors example from your clean method. So we have raised this password does not match error. This isn't attached to specific field that I have said. Okay, this error is not attached to any specific field. So if we access this form dot not filled error, then it will return something like this, because it is connected to whole form. Then message dot error stores it. Okay, same as the it stored this. So why message tag is needed? Message dot error creates tag error. Okay, so this thing we already have seen that the message dot error created tag. This message dot error created tag error. Bootstrap doesn't have alert error, okay, but it has a danger. This alert danger. It Bootstrap expects alert danger. So in settings.py we have to implement this code which convert this error to danger. This message dot tag error message dot tag is equal to error, then this code will convert it to danger. Now Django converts error to danger. Final HTML for errors. Without message tag, it will something like this. Bootstrap doesn't style it properly. With message tag, that we have already seen. Okay, without using this danger, we can't see that red error box, and we have simple text for this error. But after using this danger instead of this error, we had that red error box. I have already looked on this. Okay, so complete flow is like when user submit form request dot post created registration form request dot post. Inside request dot post we have all the data. So now it will go to this validation. If valid, so if valid, then user will be created, and message dot success is there here. When user submit form request is post request created, form object is created by using this data. Now it is, if it is valid, then we have all this data in these variables, and using these variables we are creating user. Okay, in this two table, and also this success message will be stored in session, and again this register will run, like now it has a get method, then it will go to here and render the account register.html. So template loads alerts.html. Now go to template. Inside template we are accessing this alerts, and in alerts we are accessing this message which is stored temporarily. Okay, and if a message if there is messages, now we have only success message in these messages, so for loop will run only one time, and this message dot tags will have something like success for the success message. Okay, so this alert becomes success, and it will show green box. This is just close button, and this message dot label is default message labels error. Means if we have an error message, like message dot label of the message is error, it is basically saying the label of the message is error. then it should be this important should be appear before the message. Otherwise only message will be there, not this important. Let's go to form. You can see guys, this important is there. Why? Because this is error message and in the red box. If we have that success message in green box, then what happens? Then we will not see this important. You can see we have not this important text before the message. So this will only execute when the message level is error. Okay, let's go to flow. So template loads alerts will be there, and for message in message alert success will be there, and message sound to user. Now let's go to another flow. If validation will give error, suppose user has submitted form. Now we have all the data, but the form is valid. It means validation fails. It means this will give false. Then this all will be skipped and it will go to this else block. This is in the error condition. If we have any error, then let's check what are the errors. And we have two types of error: non-field error and field error. In field error we are accessing it like this code, and non-field errors we are accessing it like this and storing all the errors in message.error. Okay, in messages. So now we have error message.error collect message stored in session. This message.error will store in the session, will be stored in session. Again it will go to uh, not this time. Okay, so this redirection was there in the while success, but in this error we are basically going to direct this render the register.html. Okay, so after storing the messages, it will load the register.html, and uh, template will be loaded, and inside template we have alerts inside template we have alerts. So that alerts the inside now these messages we have error messages, and if we have two error, then there are two messages in this, and for all the error messages this important will be executed before the message that we have already seen. Let's see again. uh, let's use the same email address that we had used, also use another password than this. Now we have two errors in this message. If in this message we have two errors, so for loop is running twice, and the first error is something like this: email already exists. So the message tag, inside this message tag we have a danger. Why? Because settings.py will convert the error to danger, and here it will become danger. That's why we are seeing this red box, and this important will be there. Why? Because the level of the message is error. This is errors. That's why we are seeing this. And okay, so message on to user. So that was the flow of the messages. Okay, so let's keep until this in this video, and if you have any query in this video, just comment it down. I will surely solve all of your errors. And so see you in the next video guys. Thank you very much.